the question is asking find forces in each member. So before I do that, let's put the forces first. So in this case, we have a pin right here. So we are going to have two forces on a pin. So let's choose different color. Okay. Okay. So let's call this one AY, and let's call this AX. And this is a roller, so it's going to have just one force. So let's call this one CY. And if I want to solve this, I'm using the method of joint. So in this case, what I have to do is I have to pick uh, a joint that has two unknown forces. So in this case, if you look at this one, 4 unknown forces. If you look at this one, 3 unknown forces. But if you look at this B, that only has 2 unknown forces. So I can choose P. So if I choose P, we know we have a 200 pounds acting from the upside, and we have 500 pounds acting on this direction. Also we have BC. So I'm assuming this is the direction. I take the tension direction. So basically tension means going away from the joint, and compression means going toward the joint. So this is tension, this is compression. So I'm always assuming tension, and if the answer is negative, then we know that is the direction is wrong, then it's compression. So that way it's easier. So in this case, I place this one as BC, and this is going to be BA. So now what I can do the summation of f of x and say f of y, and let me figure out what we can find. So first I take the summation of f of x equal to 0, and if I take this direction positive and solve for this one, 500 is going to be positive because it's along this direction, so it's going to be 500 plus, and BC. So BC is not a straight line, so we have to find the angle. So in this case, if I separate this one, so let's call this theta. So if you see, this is 4 feet distance, and the height is also 4 feet. So from this one we can say tan inverse let's say theta is equal to tan inverse 4 by 4. If you calculate, you will get 45 degree. So usually if you have same number as a height and the width, it's 45 degree. You don't know how to calculate, it's going to be 45 degree. So you can place 45 degree. Then from that I can say this is, so I'm calculating the horizontal component, so it's going to be sine 45. So in this case it's going to be plus because it's in the along with this direction, so it's going to be plus BC sine 45. Then we have BA in the opposite direction, but this is going to be the angle. Let's call this alpha. So alpha is going to be, so we have 3 here. 3 is the base distance and the height is 4. We can calculate the hypotenuse by using the Pythagorean theorem. It's going to be 4 square plus 3 square is going to be 16 plus 9, 25. So if you square root that one, you will get 5 here. So we can say 5 is hypotenuse, and that's going to be, so from this one I have to calculate the sine theta to this one. Sine theta is going to be opposite of hypotenuse. So we found out hypotenuse 5. So we can say it's 3 over 5 BA. And it's going to be negative because it's in the opposite direction. So it's going to be negative 3 over 5 BA, which is equal to 0. And if you, since this one has 2 unknown forces, so we can't do anything from this one. So let's let's find the y forces, vertical forces. So f of y is equal to 0 in statics, and if I take upper direction positive and solve for this one, you know 200 is acting downside, so it's going to be negative minus 200, and BC is also acting downside, so it's going to be negative, but the angle is making 45 degree, so it's going to be cos 45 degree. So it's going to be BC cos 45, and also BA we have in this direction, and also is acting downside, it's going to be negative, and BA is so we have to calculate cos theta. So in this case, cos theta is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent we know is 4, and hypotenuse we found out is 5, so it's going to be 4 over 5 BA. 4 over 5 BA is equal to 0. Now if you see, we have here is so let's say this is 1, this is 2. So we have here BC sine 45, BC cos 45. Both of them are same. Like if you calculate BC sine 45, it's going to be 1 over root 2. It's cos 45 1 over root 2. So it's going to be same value right here. So if you add them, both of them together, this is negative, positive. Add both of them together, both will cancel. So we can eliminate one of them by adding together. So let's add them together. So if I add them, it's going to be 300. This will be 0. And if I add these things together, it's going to be minus 7 over 5. Minus 7 over 5 BA is equal to 0. Therefore, I can calculate BA by bringing it to the other side. It's going to be BA is going to be equal to 300 times 5 over 7. And if you calculate BA, that comes out to be 214.29 pounds. Since the answer is positive, we know this is tension because we are taking the tension direction, so it's going to be tension. So this is tension. And now let's move to the other one, BC. So BC I can simply calculate by substituting in one of these equations. So let's substitute in the first equation. So if I substitute, I will get 500 plus BC sine 45 minus 3 over 5, and in terms of BA I am substituting this value, so it's going to be 214.29 is equal to 0. And if I switch this around and find the value, it's going to be BC is equal to minus 525.28 pounds. Since the answer is negative, we know this is compression because we are taking the tension direction, and if it's negative, it means the force is acting in the opposite direction. So therefore, this is compression. This is compression. And since we found the two forces right here, so let's move to the other member which have two unknown forces. So if you see BA, if I take BA, A part, A has one known and three unknown. So we can't really do anything in this one. But if you move to the C has, we already know BC, but we don't know CY and this one. So two unknown forces. So we can select the C and solve this one. So in this case, so if you select the C, we are going to have BC acting on this direction. So let's keep this direction we assume. So in this case, if I take here this direction, the value is going to be same in the opposite direction. For example, if it's a line, if it's a tension acting on this one, so if it's this point, so this is going to be same value here. So if it's negative, this is going to be negative. If it's positive, this is going to be positive. So that's how we are taking that right here. So it's going to be BC here. BC going to be same value as this one, negative value, right? And also we have AC. So I'm taking this tension direction, so it's going to be this direction, AC, and we have CY. So the question is asking forces in each member, so we don't have to calculate the CY because that's not a member, right? So we have to calculate the AC in this case. To find the AC, I have to take the summation of f of x. F of x is equal to 0. If I take this one, and so the BC is going to be negative, both of them are negative direction. I'm taking this direction positive, so this is negative direction, and BC is making what angle? So since this is BC, if this is 45 degree, this angle is going to be 45 degree too. So if this is 45 degree, then BC is going to be making, so this is 45. If this is 45, this is also 45. Because since this is 90 degrees, so this is also 45. So I can take cos 45, sin 45, both of them are same thing. So BC is negative, so it's going to be BC cos 45. And it's negative. Negative BC cos 45 and AC is going to be itself, so it's minus AC is equal to 0. So therefore AC is going to be equal to minus BC cos 45. So if I calculate BC cos 45, this comes out to be, so BC cos 45 is basically 300 and 371.23. Why I'm putting negative right here? Because you see the BC value, we are bringing the same value right here. So we don't have to like bring the positive and do, we shouldn't do that because I'm not changing the direction, I'm keeping according to this direction and solving this one. So therefore we are bringing the negative direction, and BC cos 45 is still going to be negative, but negative negative, now finally it comes out to be positive. This is going to be 371.23 pounds, and that's AC. And since the answer is positive, this is also tension. So we have, now we have found AB, BC, and CA. That's all we have to find. But AX, AY, we don't have to find, but you can still do the same approach and find if you want. That's easy. Like in this case, what we can do in this one. This one we have no AC and BC. Now if you do summation of y-axis, you will get the CY answer. And here now this one became two unknown forces. Now you can solve both of them by doing summation of f of x and f of y. But that's not our question. Our question is asking forces in each member. So we have found these three things, and that's how it's done. I hope you guys like this video. See you next time.